Yes, we are live now, sir.
Yeah, very good evening to one and all, and welcome to the webinar session on the National Webinar Come Training and Program on Career in Animation and VFX and related fields. This is Policy Times World Education Council is very happy to organize this one-day webinar come training session, and we have many esteemed speakers today to grace the occasion and shower us with their knowledge. I'll just give some few names who will all be, and some of them have already joined, and others will be joining a little bit late. So the opening session that is on prerequisite for successful career in animation, that will be delivered by Dr. Rajaram Bagdipalli, VFX trainer and motivational speaker, and also director of TimesIndiaTV.com. So, very good evening to you, Dr. Rajarao. I think we can start this session with your deliberations. Over to you, Dr. Rajarao.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Really, it's an honor and a privilege to me to present my views on visual effects here today. Really, this was a wonderful program. It is the need of the hour because today we are talking about visual effects. Really, that's a great subject because in the present scenario, there are millions of engineers in India, those who completed their engineering more than 60%, but they were unable to get job due to several issues. It may be skills, it may be hands-on and hands-off approach towards their profession, whatever it may be issues, but they are facing so many problems, especially technical graduates with technical backgrounds. Of course, here when we are talking about animation or VFX, it is not only meant for engineering students or students with technical background, it is meant for everyone. So every person with any background can learn visual effects or animation. Because actually, I was no way related to these VFX. But somehow, maybe 15 years back, I felt because there was a strong urge in me, which motivated to learn visual effects. Before learning visual effects, I could say that in 1990s, we learned PowerPoint, PPT. We know PPT. In 1990s, giving an animation to a name, Raja Rao Pagidipalli. I write in a PPT, Raja Rao Pagidipalli, and I used to animate that my title from this side to that side and that side to this side. So in those days, in 1990s, that was really a mega task, animating a title. And then slowly from when 2000 started, MS Word, PowerPoint, then we started Photoshop. At that time, changing faces or modifying faces, coloring faces, dress changing or dress changing in the sense wearing a suit to photos. Some doing works on Photoshop, it looks very awesome. So we keep on practicing Photoshop in the beginning of 2000. Actually, basically, I am a stage artist in 1990s. I wanted to become a good actor. But that stage, by the year 2000, The days were gone when people go and play it on a stage. That acting, the dramas, they were all gone. So the area of short films have entered into the market. So I wanted to try my hand in short films. So for that, the basic things that are required, of course, at that time we had a camera, Sony camera, a small camera. That is the one thing. And we know how to design a poster, and we learn basic learning on Premiere Pro. Then there are many times we required some sort of graphics. It may be a snake, or it may be coloring, or it may be setting a background sky, or shooting on a green mat. So while we are making a story, because we cannot bring each and everything for a short film, we all know that, because of our budget constraints, because of the availability. But anyway, by the year 2010, we attended so many technical workshops on VFX, and however, we learned working on green mat, we learned working on title designing, we learned working on motion graphics, so many. But after 2010, being a teacher or being a assistant professor in engineering college, one thing, and being a motivational speaker, it is a second thing. And with this experience, we started a freelancing ad agency that is called Pablo's Ad Agency. So whenever we had a time, apart from our short films, we started making some ads. This animation or this VFX, if you work up for a month, we get a 30,000 rupees salary as a teacher or as an assistant professor. But what used to happen in the beginning of 2010? If you work on a one theater ad, we used to get 35,000 rupees for one theater ad. It is a 1 month salary. So whenever we get an opportunity, we keep on working on theater ads. And of course, however, we got succeeded in that. Even though we are freelancers, but we got succeeded. And day by day, we have been working to better ourselves. So as per education, our background is arts. But when we see our technical expertise, it's all something, people think that, oh, their background is something sort of engineering. It's not engineering, but it's just a pure our imagination, pure our creativity, and pure the urge, a personal urge that made us a VFX compositor. So we used to train engineering students to learn basic visual effects whenever we have a time, and whenever there are some classes, we used to attend and we used to train students to some projects. So it's more than a decade. Today, I am here to share my views about these visual effects. It's my background story, why I started my journey in visual effects. I feel that my destination in visual effects would be making a film, making a feature film in future. Of course, I'm thinking that it could happen because people have hope. Of course, I believe that, but more than my belief, there are so many my well-wishers who believe that, of course, I can do that. Surely, I hope that would happen. So, the prerequisite that required to learn visual effects is not your background education. Of course, your background education or your educational background will certainly help you. That is one aspect. But the thing is, strong urge. The strong urge in you, that is very important. Because we have to like whatever we do. That is the first thing for success. Because feel that learning is so one should have a strong urge or one should have a strong passion. So it will drive you towards your goal. So having a good having a good technical education or good technical background will be a great asset for you. But if you think that only technical education leads you towards that goal, but that won't be. It can be any educational background. Of course, there are people with ITI background, there are people with diploma background, there are people with BTech background, there are people with commerce background, there are people with arts background, science background, whatever the background it may be. But you have to visualize, because VFX, this world is broader, unlimited. Your creativity will be your destination. Because in 2016, I told my friends, I'm starting one organization. I'm going to meet a chief minister. I'm going to meet chief minister within 1 year or 2 years. So the moment I explained my visualization to my friends, of course, those who were with me in that meeting, they laughed at me. When they laughed at me, I told them that within 3 years, certainly I will meet the President of India. Because I visualize whatever I am doing, I know, whatever my destination, I know. Because I have the clarity about my vision, I have the clarity about my mission. So really, within the 3 years, I received an invitation from the President of India. So why I am mentioning this with visual effects is, you have to imagine, you have to visualize, you have to create a picture in your mind, because here there is no impossible. There is no, in the dictionary of VFX, there is no word that is called impossible. Today, if you see S.S. Rajamouli, of course, he gives wings to his imagination. He gives just wings to his imagination. Whatever he imagines, if you see the movie RRR, if you see the interval black, if at all you didn't see that movie RRR, and if you didn't see the black interval bank, if you see that, the hero comes with a herd of lions, tigers, different animals. So really, it gives goosebumps to whoever watch, because everyone, of course, there are many scenes in that movie, but particularly that scene, if you go at home and you just imagine that scene, still it gives you goosebumps. That is the power of imagination. That is the power of visualization. That is the power of visual effects. If you see the beginning of the movie, they say that all the animals in this movie are visual effects. So what I am trying to tell you is, here the world of visual effects, it has no boundaries. It has no boundaries. Because let me tell you one thing about financial aspects. The financial aspects, especially with the advent of OTT platforms, because already we have TV channels, already we have theaters, we have exceptionally fabulous movies. With all these, with the advent of this pandemic, one more platform has joined OTTs. Nowadays, youngsters are making films. Nowadays, youngsters are making what we call web series, and they're releasing it on OTTs. So by 2024, the visual effects and animation market in India will be, that is 147 billion in Indian currency. So it is going to be one of the biggest market in India within 2 years. So it is going to be a big and bigger market, visual effects and animation. So today, the point is, we are a career. If you choose a career in animation, if you choose a career in VFX, or if you choose any field, which means related to animation or VFX in India, really it is going to be a great gift for your future, because unlimited opportunities. Because if you work a single day, if you work a single day, or if you work a week, you can take a rest for the remaining days in a month, because such is the power. If you see any Hollywood movie, if you see any Hollywood movie, at the end of the titles, we can say VFX team. If you are able to see the names, at least you can see 2,000 plus names in the VFX team. Minimum 2,000 people for a movie. If you see the latest, what we call Avengers Endgame, that set records all over the world. You know, of course, how those films were made. That's a green screen, green mat. If you see the visuals, I mean, if you see on YouTube, before and after VFX, if you see the shooting location, all green screen setup, if you have some basic idea about that green screen setup, of course, I don't say that we can make Avengers Endgame, but we can make films within our limitations, within our imaginations, within our setting goals, objectives. So if you are able to put a room with a green screen, you can make wonders. We can make wonders. So after Bahubali 1, I think it is 2015, after Bahubali 1 release, just we made an ad. If you are able to, if it is possible to you, just check it, Rajarao Pogitipalli, my YouTube channel. There is one ad called Bahubali, that is English Bahubali. Just in that ad, we try to tell the importance of importance of English with an ad that is called English Bahubali. We try to create the setup that is there in Bahubali. Of course, we don't say that we created as to setup, but somewhat we received that marker, that look. So this world, the world of visual effects, there are no boundaries. Just give it a try. Because whatever you have in your mind, whatever the ideas you are nurturing in your mind, because ever since I'm a child, I have so many ideas to interpret. So already I am trying to put my ideas in the form of short films. But if God blesses me, certainly we'll do something to the society by making feature films, by giving some message. So that is my aspect in learning visual effects. So if you want to take it as a career, there are n number of studios. If you have good skill set, here skill set means nothing but thinking. Here skill set means nothing but thinking. Here skill set means nothing but your strong urge. So if you have strong urge, if you have passion, then it is a right choice for you. Just give it a try, because there are n number of studios that are looking for VFX compositors. We can give it a try. So,
Dr. Rajarao, I just want to ask one question. Do you have any training institution or something?
yes. Actually, we don't have any training institutions, but I used to train engineering students in a student training center camp. That's what I used to do. Okay. But at present, we freelance. We freelance means whenever people ask us, just we'll help them. It's through online, or we'll go and help them. But just I want to tell you the softwares that we use. There are many softwares, but we completely depend on After Effects, because people say that it's very old, but it may old, it may a bit tough, but it is long-lasting software.
Of course, I can understand that to the extent of 2,000 plus team working, making one film. So we can imagine the amount of potential available over there. Yes. One question there is from one Pranav Puri. So he wants to know whether he has to do any post-graduation program in VFX to come into the field. Do you feel that is there any necessity for that?
Yes. Of course, there are so many graduation programs are there that are being offered at a degree level. That's very good. But currently, many people are there after the completion of their degrees, they are planning to learn all these courses. So if it is for you, you don't just go for the certificates, because in my initial days, I attended so many certificate courses. They pass the time, and in the last 2 or 3 days, they will give you the software and they talk about the interface. So instead of that, if you already completed your degree and you wanted to learn it in a crash course type, better attend some workshops where you can ask questions, where you can learn a lot of information within a span of 7 days or 8 days. Because in such a way, we obtain all the information. Because if you attend one workshop, just to be focused on completely green mat and just we learn everything about green map, then rotoscopy.
You should have more hands-on rather than going for any theory-oriented programs. More hands-on is required, if I am correct. Hands-on experience.
Hands-on experience is coming to hands-on experience. Actually, in the beginning days, no one will give you work. We did a Bangar Telangana short film. It is entirely shot on a green mat. Just we bought a 10,000 rupees camera, Sony camera, and we shoot something and we put all the effects into that, because that's what we did in our days, because no one will give us to experiment. So we ourselves have to experiment. That's why nowadays you need not buy any camera. Just if you have a good cell phone, then you can take some visuals on green mat or on somewhere. Of course, without a green mat also, you can include VFX into the video footage. Because if you need a snake, you can put in a snake. If you want a fire, you can put it. If you want to bomb blast, you can do it. If you want car blast, you can do it. So you can do it anything you want.
Can you suggest any free software or something else?
Yes, software. There are free softwares won't work properly, because
at least to make a trial, okay, they
of course.
Something in their own.
Adobe gives 30 to 45 days trial. Adobe gives 30 to 45 days trial. So during this period, this 30 to 45 days period, of course, you can do a number of experiments. So
that is fair. That is quite long a time.
Yes. So we can do that. That's good. Of course, there are many softwares without these also, without purchasing also offering, but we need some, because if you want to go professionally, we should be backed by good software. That's why purchasing one-time license is better for your career, because if you want to go ahead,
so thank you, Dr. Rajarao, for your valuable suggestions, and please do stay with us because we can have a final roundup towards the end of the program. I have Miss Malini, an entrepreneur from Bangalore, basically. She's also a journalist, author, social worker, and educationalist. Now a creative innovator and CMD of Synergy Images from Bangalore. And she is here to talk about the animation industry and career prospects in emerging market scenario of Industry 4.0. With respect to Industry 4.0, she wants to give her opinion how this particular domain can help. Yeah. Welcome, Malini.
Thank you so much, Dr. Partha. Pleasure meeting you again. Thank you, Akram and Alamin. Good evening, everybody. Can I share a presentation?
Yes, please.
Yes, just a second. Yes, you can now. Yeah.
Can you see?
Yes, we can see.
Okay. Basically, talking about animation and the people who don't know much about this industry, and trying to tell them how they can go about, what are the roles that they can take, and what is the future of animation in India and abroad and the world as a whole. See, animation is a very amazing field to be in. It's very lucrative today, and anybody with a good creative mind, that is, if you think you are very creative, and added to that, if you have good drawing and drawing skills and sketching, painting and all that, then you can really make a mark in this industry. Animation industry in India is expected to grow at a pace faster than even the IT industry. So animation is a field where you can fulfill your dream of enjoy as you work and find an outlet to your creativity. So naturally, when a hobby becomes a well-paying job, the fun is unlimited. So animation is a business and a career where you can have a lot of fun while you're at work. So work is not, like the other fields where you are really, you don't want to go there because you're stuck there, you are not enjoying it. But here it's not that, because you're inventing new things, you're making new things, and you're going to entertain people using that. So that itself gives you a lot of fun element in the workspace. So one can study animation, graphics and multimedia courses either as a part-time or as a full-time student. So while the admission into this diploma and degree courses is through some entrance exam, part-time courses are offered to anyone who is interested, and on a first-come, first-served basis. There are many institutes in all the leading cities and towns in India, and both private and government, for providing training in animation, graphics and multimedia. So these many institutes also provide internship and arrange for a job placement during and or after the completion of their course. So course normally is probably, it can even be from 1 year to 3 years. There are plenty of job opportunities for animation related professionals like graphic designers, multimedia developer, game developer, character designers, keyframe animators, 3D modelers, layout artists, integrators, motion captures, and many others. So they can mainly find job in the advertising sector, online and print news media. That's one place where there is ever growing need, and film and television, of course, and theater, video gaming, corporate video production, and then visual effects for, like, even if it is a movie, it can be a serial, it could be anything. And e-learning is a big one, where a lot of graphics and support are required. So it's a corporate kind of a setup, but still you can be, if you're a good animator or a developer or whatever, you can still find your space there. So visual effects is in demand and is increased, and the demand has increased just leaps and bounds, since anything and everything needs a visual effects today. So many countries outsource work to India as it is cost effective, one, and Indians are creative, and also the language. Indians can speak and understand English, and they can also adapt to the different regions seamlessly and create a culture, their culture based, presentation or movies easily, much better than other people. So India is in demand in that space, and animation and visual effect profession demands immense creativity, imagination, along with sketching and drawing skills. So immense creativity means you should be able to visualize so many things. Creativity, everybody has it. It is how you tune your creativity in order to be a professional in animation. To pursue a career in animation and visual effects, acquiring knowledge about the right techniques and practical experience is a must. That is the biggest thing. More than acquiring knowledge or learning, unless you have put it into a practical use, it is not much. You don't really understand the business. So it's always better to go for a practical experience, and only based on that you will also get placed. So an animated film goes through many stages, and each one has its own importance. You should pick the role that interests you and also in which you are good. Everybody cannot be good in the entire animation, what do you say, the sequence. You will be good at some, be good at others. So it's up to you to find out region so that you can put in your best foot forward. The storyboarding artists are the people who can do the visual representation on paper, drawing sketches frame by frame. So if you're good at drawing, or if you're good at sketching, then I think that will be a best one, because this is a board which decides how the whole film is going to be. So it's a very important position, and this helps the filmmakers, the advertisers and the producers to understand the project, because most of them may not be able to visualize as we are able to tell them. So if you show them on paper, it's much easier. And character animators are the ones who bring life into the characters and by giving them movements, expression, dialogue deliveries, and make it an engaging story. The character animators are the ones who do these things in films, TV, games, and e-learning, also using various software. The modelers are the ones responsible for adding the bones, the skin to the animated characters, and the rigging artists make sure that the whole character works together and doesn't break while animating. So there are texture artists who apply the textures, colors, and give the 3D look to the animated character. And they usually have an eye for detail for creating artwork like, wrinkles, fur, hair, scales, etc. So as VFX and animation go hand in hand, the career scope for VFX also grows along with the scope of animation. Hence, VFX and animation courses are in demand, offering plenty of job opportunities for the creative lot. Today, the career in VFX and animation could be rewarding. There are plenty of job opportunities too. There's another place which is less talked about because everybody understands VFX, everybody wants to be in a film, everybody wants to do something big. But there is a niche market called corporate videos. The videos which give a different flavor. It gives a very rich flavor. Animated videos allows a company to transmit a message with ease and simplicity. It can be a product presentation, it could be a service, it could be about the company. And even if the product or service is complex to understand, you can still make it very simple for the viewer by making it in the animated format. That is not just animation, it is more like motion capture, and then you have the video plus the graphics and animation. So the story is not restricted to live action production, which can be boring. You can let your imagination go wild and find the best way to attract and convert viewers. This is a business on its own and is never ending because every company needs at some stage or the other to talk about themselves. So VFX and live shoot can be seamlessly integrated to mind-blowing videos. By using the color schemes of the company, making the branding in the videos, the company can actually gain more from the video because they have their branding, so that will stay in the mind of the viewer, and also they are trying to market it without spending too much money. That is, you only spend for the video, you don't go for the marketing because that does it on its own. So there are multiple uses of doing these kind of videos, corporate videos. And animation and related fields are in the threshold of a big boom. The industry has transformed post the pandemic. New trends have arise while high quality production is a need of the hour. More people are needed in this rapidly growing sector, and India is poised to show its might in the animation sector in the coming years. 1 minute, just a minute. See, the points that we should remember while we are talking about a career in animation is these are the small points that we need to take care. Be at your creative best, but consider what you're working for. That is, a corporate company video has to look corporate and cannot have jazzy special effects because we know how to do it. We can't dump it on the customer. So it's important to understand whom you're working for. If you're working for a corporate company, you have to design your presentation in a way that it is corporate looking and own the brand that you're working for. Suppose you're going to work for Britannia, you must think you are owning this brand and work for it with complete 100% passion. That is, while you're at this job, you got to morning till night only think about this. So anything that you see, you should see how to relate it to your product and branding. That is how you become more and more creative. And quality, timelines, and durations are very important. We cannot go berserk in the duration. It has to stay where they want you to stay. The quality, of course, has to be the best possible, and timelines have to be met because animation industry is one where creativity can rule you, and you can your mind can go away from the timelines, which is not a good thing to do, especially when you're dealing with corporate companies. But with anybody else also, timelines are just as important. So impact creation should be your focus, the focus of the entire team. How do I create an impact with the audience, with my presentation, with my video, with my animation, with my visual effects? So if you give your best to each and every assignment, project size is immaterial. We should not think that only a 100 crore project needs the best efforts and a 5 lakh project doesn't need. It's not like that. Every project size is immaterial, because you got to give your best. Only then the project will succeed. And if that product succeeds is when you succeed in your career. So these are the small points to note. That apart, it's a very breezy place to be in. Animation space is beautiful, and it is very, very lively and ever in demand. So I hope this was useful, and if there are any questions, I would like to take that.
Maybe questions we can take towards the end of the session.
Okay.
This morning, if it is convenient. Of course, it was very elaborate. Like you have covered almost all the departments in right from the storytelling to various other aspects. So it is so kind of you. We have
My
another
pleasure.
interesting gentleman joining us, Professor D.R. Froilan Mobo. He is the Assistant Director, Department of Research, Development and Extension, Philippine Merchant Marine Academy. And the specializations are SSIT and Computer Science. He is going to enrich us today with the scope of research in animation industry and special focus on Industry 4.0. So Industry 4.0 correlated to VFX is of course something out of the box that I am hearing for the first time today. Even Malini was also mentioning it. So without wasting much time, I call Professor Dr. Froilan.
Yes,
I have
hello,
pronounced your
sir.
name properly. I hope,
So hello,
I hope
hello,
I
sir.
pronounced your name properly. Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Thank
So
you.
good evening from the Philippines. Right, sir. So thus in the Industry 4.0, it is being defined as those technologies that represent new and significant developments in the field, like the Internet of Things, Education 4.0, which uses the blended learning, and also the augmented reality with virtual reality uh, as part of the drill of their mechanism in this time of pandemic. So of course, there are lots of changes encountered, like we during the pandemic, or as of now, we still have to we cannot conduct face to face, or we are still conducting limited face to face. So what we did here in the Philippines is we do simulation of activities, especially in the laboratories. So educational courses that requires laboratory of simulation, which is the biggest challenge because students are having hard time in understanding the practical real-time applications. So what we did is the evolution of this technology in education helps a lot because it characterize to adapt the requirements in the augmented reality and virtual reality as being assessed, okay, as part of the requirement which is set by the task force on COVID-19. So the purpose of this is, of course, number one, this is to help and strengthen, of course, the role of the trends in terms of research amidst the pandemic. And of course, this is to help our educational sector, which can boost up again in the level of education as part of the new normal approach using this type of technology in the augmented and virtual reality. So the schools will be able to adopt these emerging technologies, which is especially in this time of pandemic. So in conclusion, the emerging trends plays a vital role because majority of the educational sector now in the Philippines are using this type of technology, the augmented reality, the AR, and the virtual reality, VR, in their laboratory simulation or exercises, even they are in their home or in a school with a limited face-to-face approach. And also it will help, of course, to strengthen their skills, which is required, okay, in our business sector industry, especially in this time of pandemic. So that would be all, sir. Thank you and good evening from the Philippines, sir. That would be all, sir. Thank you and good evening.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Mobo. Virtual reality, of course, is a very vast subject, and it is very difficult to cover such a vast subject in a shorter duration. So, as you rightly pointed out, in Industry 4.0, VR and AR is going to play a major role. I, being from the industry background, we can understand which various areas where this AR can be implemented, especially a person sitting at home can, without learning or without touching any manual, if he can just scan the QR code and work out the parts of a vehicle, even you can do the repair work of the vehicles and do it. So that practically we have seen that, and as you rightly pointed out, more research should be done in this area and people should come forward. So kind of you, please stay back and then maybe towards the program ends, we'll have some question and answer sessions from the audience. So coming in line is how to choose the best animation institute in India. That is the biggest question in the mind of every student who would like to take up this particular segment. So for that we have Mr. Irfan Alam, Image Processing and Multimedia Lab, Delhi Technological University. So over to you, Mr. Irfan, for your.
Thanks, sir. Thanks a lot, sir. Good. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible. Please go ahead.
Thanks a lot, sir. I am Irfan Alam. Actually, I am pursuing research in this field. Actually, the major concern is the IoT device. But so I have been actually watching the chat box, the queries that the students are asking. So I actually I will try to remove all those confusions from the students. That questions must be solved from this PPT. So should I share PPT?
You can.
Okay, sir. Okay. So see, career in animation and visual effects and the field related to it is a huge field. So here I need to talk about the how to choose the best animation institute in India. So these are the agenda for today's talk. So initially we will learn about the popular UG courses in animation. Those who are in the 12th class. See, the minimum criteria for entering in animation industry is 12th class only. So you don't need to any. I will tell you that how to get into the animation industry and which course you should opt. So agenda of my topic is some of the popular UG courses in animation. I've also put out the PG courses in animation. We will also learn the short-term courses in animation. So we'll also learn the entrance exam for animation in India particularly, and the major topic which I have to cover, the factors to consider while choosing the right institute. So I will be quick to these slides. So why this topic is chosen from this platform and why we are here. See, as you can see that this is the booming in